Hello, welcome back to HowtoDandD. This is where I talk about Dungeons and Dragons and other roleplay games when I get a chance. But right now, we'll come back to Dungeons and Droids some other day. It's D&D today, so it's all about character creation. For those of you who have been part of this particular program, because I run it more than once, this is a weekly program where I go through the basics of building characters, but this time it's a little different. This time I'm changing the order of how I do things, and also I'm changing how I build the character. I'm not going to use D&D Beyond. I'm going to use a fillable PDF today. And I'm also going to still present the same program, but a slightly different way. So my suggestion to you is, since this is intended to give you instruction and to be helpful and allow you to actually build a character, my suggestion is have your phone open and watch and listen to me, and then either have pen and pencil, a character sheet, a piece of paper, some dice ready, or have your laptop or computer open so you can build your character as we go. Like, that's my intention, is to allow you to help walk you through the process as I build a character with you. But before that, we have some things to be do. So Noroak, hello. Noroak is a patron, supports them on Patreon. Make sure this program keeps going. Fender, also a patron. Hello, Fender, and also a moderator. Thank you for showing up today, both of you. Okay, let's let's get into the business at hand, which is character creation, shall we? Oh, I bet you're confused now. I bet you're really confused now. The basics to a wizard. How do we go about creating our wizard if we're starting out? Well, probably the first thing to consider is that intelligence should be your highest ability score, because it is directly connected to how well you use your magic. It's also wise to increase your intelligence to 20 reasonably quickly. Next, Constitution and Dexterity are your second most important ability scores, because they relate to how long your wizard will survive in a battle. Proficiency with Arcana, that particular skill, is generally expected by anybody playing a wizard, because you're meant to know something about magic. Select at least one damage dealing cantrip, and the rest are better off being utility cantrips. This gives you the best balance in terms of gameplay and flexibility when you're playing the game. So what we want to look at is things like Mage Hand. Minor Illusion is very good. Mage Hand allows you to manipulate something from a distance. Minor Illusion allows you to create small illusions to deceive something or someone. You can also use Prestidigitation. It's a very good cantrip too. It's like the Swiss Army knife of Dungeons and Dragons. Does lots of different things. Message allows you to communicate telepathically with somebody. Mending is really good. There's very few spells that allow you to actually repair something. It is very situational, but it's still a very useful spell. And then Light, for creating light when you don't have a torch, which in fact you probably should have a torch. But in any case, you only get 6 first level spells at character level 1. So ensure you get the better spells first. And I'm going to tell you what I think are the better spells first out of the 6 that you would select. Mage Armor, to make sure your armor class is going to be better. Magic Missile, so you can actually do damage and don't have to worry about rolling to actually hit, because all you have to do is see the target. Shield, so that when something gets through your armor class, you can actually defend yourself. And Sleep, for putting to sleep enemies that have very few hit points. They are very good spells. These are by far the better of the player handbook cantrips for a wizard, and I would suggest grabbing them. Now, I am stipulating and saying shield because it is such a good spell. It's not a cantrip spell. You want to pick this up if you can. Ritual casting means that you are better at selecting, well, you better select some spells that are for ritual casting, okay? Because you are a ritual caster. As a wizard, you cast things ritually. So anything with a tag, the ritual tag, you can select. And there's a bunch of them that I would suggest you do, because you only get so many spell slots, even if you know a certain number of spells. So you might as well make some of those ritual casters. So Alarm is great for setting up an alarm around your campsite when you're going to sleep. Comprehend Languages is great for reading any kind of text or script that you might not generally understand. You can pretty much understand anything with that spell. Detect magic, you will use it all the time. It's like perception. You turn it on, you figure out if something's magical or not. Find familiar, very useful. Okay, allows you to cast spells at a distance and do a variety of other things, but your familiar also acts as a scout. Identify, for identifying those magic items that you can't identify any other way. Tensor's floating disc, for actually carrying stuff. If you don't have a mule, Tensor's floating disc is very good. And then Unseen Servant. These are all excellent spells and probably should be at the top of your list in terms of writing them into your spell book when the opportunity arises. The best feats for a wizard generally tend to be Warcaster, because they help with dealing with anybody who's close to you, and also for concentration checks. Lucky is useful for everybody because you get to re-roll some dice. Alert means you can't be surprised and you get a huge bonus to your initiative. And going first makes the difference in Dungeons & Dragons 5e. Tough gives you more hit points. Wizards need hit points. So the more hit points you have as a wizard is probably a good thing to have. And then maybe the Magic Initiate, but generally not, because you get so many spells as a wizard anyway. So it's not that important. It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to have a lot of very low level cantrips and spells accessible to you, then maybe Magic Initiate. But those are the basics in terms of creating your wizard. I know what you're thinking, people. You're thinking, Fred, that's not the program that you normally run. Are you confused? Are you confused? No, don't be confused. I have every intention of running the program that I normally run. But I am also aware, people, that when people jump onto my live streams that are almost 2 hours long, that they miss all of the stuff that they need to know. And that's that one little bit that I've just delivered. Okay? So my intention was to do this, and now I will actually run my main presentation, because you still need to know all that stuff as well. And yeah, we're not into character building just yet. Let us open up, and I will proceed, shall I? Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, because heck, I almost always do talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and the name sort of says D&D, so it must be that, or it's something to do with Star Wars. Who knows? But anyway, we're talking about Dungeons & Dragons 5e. This is Lesson Plan 1, or Lesson 1, Beginner Character Creation, where we look at the process of building characters. This is not designed to be an optimizing lesson. I am only really looking at people who are doing this for pretty much the first time. So the overview for today is we will do some character creation pre-check. We'll look at the different things you need to do before you create your character, the different character sheet formats, character creation basic steps that would be involved, the advanced character details you need to fill in, some miscellaneous recommendations, and of course, character class essentials, which we've already done. We've already covered that. Okay, so that is our overview for today. Objectives, I will be explaining everything as I go. I'll be demonstrating, so we'll actually do a character sheet. We'll make up a character, and because I want you to participate and be part of that character creation process, I want you to either be building your own character as you watch this and as I go through this process, or you will build a character with me so you get a bit of practice if you need that practice and aren't too familiar with the process. I'm going to direct you to D&D Beyond, which has a character builder for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It is free to use, but it doesn't have all the options there. Some things are free, some things you have to pay for. I am not sponsored by D&D Beyond, people, okay? There is no sponsorship from them. Character creation pre-check. What does the character creation pre-check look like when we're starting out and making our character? Now, I think a lot of people assume that this is an unimportant aspect of character creation, but it ultimately is probably more important than anything else. First off, check with the Dungeon Master what player character options are available for your game, okay, that's being run. What house rules does the Dungeon Master have when using character creation, because they might be different to somebody else, and what sort of house rules do they have when they're playing the game, because that will affect how your character operates in the game. Build the character for the campaign on the information provided by your Dungeon Master. And if the Dungeon Master doesn't provide information, Ask for relevant details to allow you to know a little bit about the adventure or campaign that's being run, not to give out spoilers, but to give you enough information so you can build a character that will fit the game. Character creation always starts as a group discussion because a character is in fact part of a team or part of a group machine. So you're kind of like a cog within the machine. So essentially when you play Dungeons and Dragons, you are playing a team sport. Now when you are playing with a team, you have to plan together, you have to train together, and then you play together. Okay, so that means that the character creation process needs to be done together, not exclusively away from everybody else in a darkened room. Designing characters around 3 pillars of play. It's always smart to design your character so that it can do 3 different things: exploration, social interaction, and combat. You don't want a one-trick pony. If you only build a character that's good at one thing, then you lose out on the rest of the game, okay? A one-trick pony only does 1/3 of the game, where you want something that does the entire game. Ask what ability score method is being used when you're creating your character, and when you can use it. So are you using a point-buy system? Are you using standard array, or are you going to be rolling for dice? So you're going to roll for all of your ability scores. Now, if you're going to be rolling for ability scores, that's the strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. When you roll, make sure you do it in front of the dungeon master. Okay, the norm is you do it in front of the group, but particularly in front of the dungeon master, so that you can't be accused of being a cheat or fabricating the numbers that you roll. So you always do it in front of somebody. Determine what hit point method is going to be used. Are you going to be rolling for those hit points, or will you be using an average for those hit points? And if you're going to roll for your hit points, when are you going to do it? You're going to do it in front of the group, particularly the dungeon master, so they can see what you roll for your hit points. Now, if they decide not to use rolling for ability scores or hit points, please do not get upset, particularly if you are new. The reason for doing this is sometimes simply to make sure that everybody's on the same level, because you get a lot of variation when people start rolling dice. And another reason for doing that is it's much easier to check a character sheet has been constructed correctly, particularly with beginners, when you're using point buy and standard array, because you don't have to remember all of the different numbers that were rolled to ensure that they have constructed the character correctly and done all their maths correctly. So do not get upset if they say no, you can't roll for things. It is actually perfectly reasonable, and it actually makes a lot more sense. There are a number of different character sheet formats that you can use. One is the standard paper character sheet with pencil. You can use a pen, but pencil's better because you can rub out a pen, a pencil mark. Pen you can't. You know, are you going to use twink? No. So you can have use an eraser or a rubber. I'm in New Zealand, right? We call the thing on the end of the pencil a rubber. So paper is a pretty standard way. You can also use a fillable PDF character sheet. There are plenty of them out there. I will be using a fillable PDF character sheet today to build a wizard with you. And that means I will have to do all the maths and figure it out as I go, just as you would have to do if you were using a fillable PDF as well. D&D Beyond has a character builder. It does all the maths for you. You plug in all the details you want, spits out pretty much what you are after, which is great. But, you know, some people don't want to use D&D Beyond, and that's fine. There are third-party character builders on phones and also on the internet that you can pick up if you're interested. Those are your basic formats in terms of, the character creation, or the starting point for what you're going to put your character on. Character creation basic steps. What are those basic steps when you're creating your character? Well, first off, you need to select the level for your character. What level are you starting at? Write it down on the character sheet. Check with your dungeon master. You might not be starting at level 1. Some groups start at level 3, some at 5. Or various other levels. So it's always important to check with the dungeon master what level character you are expected to build. Generally, you'll find that beginners are asked to build a character at level 1, and if you're dealing with a whole group of new players, you're probably all going to be starting at level 1, just so you get to grips with the different mechanics of the characters and the game itself. Otherwise, it gets a bit complicated very, very quickly. Another thing to consider is that when it comes to level, it actually is not. It's not the sort of thing where you need to get too upset about the fact that you might be building a character that's level 1 or level 3 or level 5. Some campaigns work better at certain levels, and sometimes your character level is simply indicative of the group that they're running for, or personal preference that dungeon masters have. There's lots of different reasons. Select the class for your character and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. You'll find most of the classes are in the player's handbook on page 45 to 119. There are subclasses and various other, there's the artificer and so forth, and supplements, but you need to check with your dungeon master what things you're allowed to use if you're going outside of the player's handbook. Select the race for your character and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. You'll find the race information for the basic races in the player's handbook on page 17 to 43. There are many different races now and different supplements, so definitely talk to your dungeon master about what races are suitable for the campaign or the adventure being run. If you're playing something like Adventurers League, they pretty much get to use everything under the sun, but you may not be playing Adventurers League. Select the background for your character. Write down the relevant details on the character sheet. Backgrounds you'll find in the player's handbook on page 125 through to 141. I would like to point out that there are many different backgrounds and different supplements. Again, you need to check with your dungeon master what's appropriate. The key thing to remember with the backgrounds is you do not need to necessarily use the samples provided. The set out backgrounds, there is a section in the back that talks about creating your own backgrounds. So talk with your dungeon master, you may be able to make your own background with some guidelines. Select a feat for your character if you get any, and write down the relevant details on your character sheet. Right now, you'll find if you're playing a variant human, you get a feat, okay? And some groups, some dungeon masters don't use feats. So if they don't use feats, don't select feats. But some dungeon masters actually give out a feat at level 1 or level 3, or you get the option to have a feat at level 4 if you're playing with feats. Remember, feats are optional. If a dungeon master doesn't like using them, I wouldn't give them a hard time about it. It's just different type of play rather than restricting your fun, okay? I can assure you, you can have a lot of fun without playing with feats. Feats, you'll find most of the decent ones are in the player's handbook on page 165 to 170. There are additional feats and other supplements. Again, check with your dungeon master about that. Determine the character's 6 ability scores with one of the methods approved by your dungeon master. We talked about that. That's the point buy system, standard array, or are you rolling? And you'll find the information on how those systems work in the player's handbook on page 12 to 13. So that is the basics for building your character. Should be pretty simple. Most of that is already spelled out in the player's handbook. There are some advanced character details you need to fill in, and that is if you're selecting spells for your character, if you have spells, that is, you need to write down the relevant details on your character sheet, at least the name of the spell. And probably because spells are so complicated, write down the page number as a reference point to go and look it up when you need to, because it's going to be very hard to remember the details of the spell. Okay, even though you only get a handful of spells when you start off. Spells you'll find in the player's handbook, the vast majority are on page 207 to 289. There are additional spells in different books. Select or buy your equipment for your character and write down the relevant details on the character sheet. Very important, buy some equipment. I would suggest that you will probably better off to go with selecting your equipment, and then whatever money's left over, you use that to buy some additional stuff. It's probably simpler, it's easier to deal with, and you'll probably get more bang for your buck. Equipment is in the player's handbook on page 143 to 161. Okay, it's time to do the maths. You've got to calculate the ability modifiers for all of your ability scores, the proficiency bonus, the skill modifiers, saving throw modifiers, attack, your armor class, your hit points, your initiative, your passive perception, your weapon attack bonus, your weapon damage formula, your spell attack bonus, your spell saving difficulty class. Oh my gosh, there is so much stuff, right? But fortunately, in most of those equations are actually quite short, and as long as you know the method, you're all right. It's actually not too difficult to deal with. So as long as you look fine, look, I'm going to cover how to do that, so don't worry. Select or draw a character portrait. It's not vital, but it does help connect your concept and your imagination of the character you're trying to portray into a physical medium, which is either digital or on paper. Okay, So that is the gist of it. But like everything I do here on YouTube, I always like to give you some miscellaneous recommendations, things that I think will be useful to you in some way. And this is what I have to say. The character backgrounds can be anything that you want them to be, okay? You do not need to select the optimized character background to fit your character class or race, okay? You can adjust it as you see fit as long as you get sign off from your dungeon master. And as I said, there's about a paragraph that talks about being able to create your own backgrounds. And so that means that adjusting existing backgrounds should be a thing as well. Okay, it's going to become the norm in the future, whether we like it or not. And for those of you who are feeling like, oh, I'm not too sure about this, don't worry about it. It's actually not that difficult to do. What race you select no longer has any real bearing on the character, as it's very flexible. Like you don't, there used to be, okay, you play this particular race for these classes. That doesn't exist anymore because the mathematics behind the races has been dissected from the race itself, and it's not, you can put your bonuses wherever the heck you like. So that kind of opens things up. It was always possible to do so in the first place. I think the biggest problem that people had was like, I don't want to have just a +4 modifier for my attack or my spell attack bonus. Like I would prefer to have a 5 because that's generally the average that most people have. But it's perfectly fine to be 1 point out, okay? You can be slightly out. It doesn't have to be exactly a +5 at level 1. You can also create your own races, and you need to have a discussion with the Dungeon Master. There will be rules and guidelines around how to do that. Most of that is in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You won't find that in the Standard Player's Handbook. And there's also some guidance also in the Dungeon Master Guide. Okay, but again, it's a discussion you have with your Dungeon Master. So you don't need to make your race be optimal for your class now. That's not important. Select adventuring gear. Please do it, okay? It's easy to do. Any player character, any player can do it, okay? There's no restrictions, okay? You can go through the section on adventuring gear and select stuff and buy it if you have the money. So do so. It helps prepare and help you to solve problems, deal with conflicts, challenges, and just give you more things to do. You'll be surprised what you can do with basic adventuring gear. It will be hugely useful to you. And if you don't believe me, I have a whole series of videos that explain how to use the various items of adventuring gear you find in the player's handbook in your game to your advantage, to solve problems and progress the story, and to ensure that your character is more successful. And I would definitely advise you to check it out at some point when you get a chance. Wow, that was a lot of information. I am hoping that what I've provided you with today is enough to get you started and you feel a bit more comfortable about the whole process of building a character. And if it has, great. If you have questions, put them in the comments section. If you have any feedback you would like to give, by all means do so. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay. Let's cycle on back to my head. Let's get into the chat. You'll all tell me now if you feel like the manner in which I presented things today was the wrong way. But very shortly, we are going to be probably doing the same thing we always do. We build a character, right? But I'm going to use a fillable PDF, which means I have to do all the maths in my head here, or you will help me, hopefully. And I have 4 books for creating characters. I have the Player's Handbook, Monsters of the Multiverse, which is the only reason I bought the thing is because it has those new races in there, Tasha's and Xanathar's because it's got a lot of player options in there. And hopefully I don't have to go and dredge anything else out from somewhere else, but we'll see how we go. So let me just go through the chat first and have a look at our poll. For those of you who are here to build a character for the first time, make sure you have a paper, pencil, or some dice ready to go because you'll need that sort of stuff. I would suggest too that keep your phone going so you can listen to what I'm saying. And if you're using paper and pencil or you're using your laptop or computer, have that open as well. And we'll go through this process very, very shortly. Let's have a look at our poll first. I'm going to apologise now. I am doing reasonably well, I thought, today. But I'm going to need to put a lozenge in my mouth because I'm losing it again. Sorry about that. Okay. Is this your first time creating a wizard for Dungeons & Dragons 5e? Yes, 25% out of 24 votes. Okay. For those of you that out of the 25% who voted and said yes, please stick around and let me know if you are first time building a character so that we can focus more on you if need be. Okay. The best way to support this program happening every week, by the way, is on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you get everything that I put onto Patreon, and you ensure that these classes continue from now into the future. That's what the whole point of them is. Patreon has a dual purpose. It supports the live content continuing and these different programs. I have 5 programs. One is character building. One is the basic rules of Dungeons & Dragons. Another one is monster lore, how to defeat them and how to use them. Another one is Dungeon Master Prep and the Lost Mine of Fandelver. Okay, and then we got 60% said no. Unfinished, there's nobody. Just watching, 16%. Okay, good to know. Let's have a say hello to everybody before we get started. Oh, poor, I am going to struggle today. I've already said hi to Norok, who's a patron. Hello, how are you doing? Fender, patron also, how are you doing? And also a moderator. David Rose, how are you doing, David Rose? For the life of me, if I forget that you are a patron, I don't call it out, please let me know. I sometimes I'm already hot and tired. Hello, Forrest, how are you doing, Forrest Rico? Hopefully what's up is we're going to be building a character, a wizard, very shortly. Hello, Todd. How are you? I'm always really confused. So, Todd, no, you're not. You know you're not always confused. You're just saying that. You're just saying that, aren't you? I know you are. I know you're just saying that. Oh dear. In any case. Todd is also a patron, by the way, for those of you who are unaware. I just thought I'd call that out. I did remember. It's Todd, how long have you been with me? I see. All right, I see. Now, wisdom saving throw. I rolled a 20. Okay, yep. Hello, Chris. How are you doing? Chris has a YouTube channel, by the way. It's good to see you here, mate. Mike G, how are you? Great to catch a live stream with Fred. Oh, well, I'm glad you can. I know you're from Canada. Calling out Canada. Apparently, one of my buddies is going to be moving to Canada in the future. Some of you may, in fact, know who he is. Yeah, I won't say anything more because I don't know if he wants everybody to know yet. So we'll just stay quiet. You guys will find out when he decides to tell you. Might be a bit of a surprise. Going to be an interesting development, I have to say. In any case, welcome. Where are we? What is my favourite wizard school? I like to burn and blow stuff up, so it's evocation. Okay, I'm a very basic person. In any case, it's all right. You know, we can do whatever you like today, people. We can build whatever kind of wizard you like, but it's only going to be level 1, so it's not going to have it's not really going to have that much going on with it. Overboard Miniature Gaming, how are you doing? Hello, Joe. Also a patron and also a moderator. Welcome. We've got Agile Monk in the house. Hello. Also a patron and also a moderator. Thank you for showing up. You're well, Fred? David? Oh, good. We work so busy. Yeah. Some lives. Look, you don't have to. The reason for creating the live stream is not so that you have to watch everything, people. I do not expect you to do so. Just watch what you want to watch, okay? What I've done is I've tried to turn HowtoDandD into a channel, like where you have daily content almost. I can't do every single day because that would kill me. But 6 days a week has almost killed me, but it's doable. Yes, no, I noticed. No, it's great. Now, so this is where we need to proceed. I am going to have to open up my phone to be able to keep a track of what you guys are doing. I am also open to the concept of rolling dice as part of this process. So if you wanted to do that, you can, people, because I have some dice ready to go. And I will switch, of course, to my other webcam to show you the dice rolling process as we go. If you want to do that, but if you don't, it doesn't matter, because we can do whatever method you like, and I will still figure out the maths behind it. That's my intention. That's how I'm going to do it today. Anyway. Okay, so let's see. Back to there. Oh, hi. How's it, Chris? Now I'm going to get your name wrong, but I'm going to try really hard. Chris. Oh gosh. Chris Monthia. Hello, welcome. Okay. You guys are all ready. You got all your gear. Let's do some character building. So let's go over to our workstation. I'm hoping that this will work. I have tried to test it in the past. Can I just say that it has not been that successful, but I've been surprised that now that I'm live streaming in 4K with this fancy ass computer and all of this gear that I spent money on, things have certainly got a little bit easier to do. So it might actually be possible. I'm going to have to make my head much, much smaller. This is not going to work otherwise. Shrink me down. Okay, so if you guys feel like I'm too small and my head is way, way too small, trust me, you'll survive. I just want you to be able to see everything else clearly, and this seems like the only way to do it. So this is what we have. This is a fillable PDF. I downloaded it off YouTube, not YouTube. I downloaded it off the Dungeons and Dragons official website. If you need me to give you the official Dungeons and Dragons website, you'll let me know. How are you going, Spirit Wolf? Yeah, I work too many hours, and eventually I will have to slow down. I just can't get... Yeah, I'm struggling with that name. Sputnik. Okay, he looks like Sputnik. Yeah, I'm a little Sputnik. That's me. Okay, so let's go over to this character sheet. I can see you guys in chat. Now, you know the deal here. We're going to create a name. So I'm going to use my phone, hashtag, create a name. So normally I would just do that randomly, but today we're actually going to do that, create a name. So if I spot a name that I like, I'm going to put it in. Okay, so we'll do that. So while you guys are coming up with a name for this character, I'm here working hard, typing in some basics. Like, what is our class? It's a wizard. We're going to create a wizard, Harry, and what level are we? Well, I guess it's level 1. Now, for those of you who are wondering what's the deal with this, I'm using this fillable PDF on Google Chrome. So you can use it. You can use a fillable PDF on Google Chrome or in a PDF, in Adobe Reader or Writer. But if you don't want to have to pay for that, there's still an option to download the finished result. See, download button right over there. So you do not need to go and buy Adobe to be able to use a fillable PDF. Now, my player name. All right, so David Ross has put in a character name here. I'm going to put in the player name in a second. My player name is going to be the name of somebody who indicates in chat that they are a first-time character builder person. Like, this is the first time they've built a character. Whether it's a wizard or anything else, it doesn't matter. I want to know about you. We're not going to worry about experience points because right now we've got 0. Alignment. Neutral. Is that how I spell neutral? I think it is. We're not going to determine our race just yet. I've got another name. Okay, I can see David Rose has got a name in here. Spirit Wolf has got a name in here. Noroak has got a name in here. Good. So I'm just starting to fill in the different details here, as you can see. We're not going to fill in our background just yet because you guys are going to select that. I'm very tempted to write in here speed 30 feet because like every race seems to have the 30 feet speed now, which is kind of ridiculous, but at least everybody stays together, I guess, and nobody gets left behind. There's none of this. As long as I can run faster than the dwarf, the gnome, or the halfling, the monsters will eat them first and I will get away. Dankton Pickle Periwinkle, you agile monk. Nice. Love it. We don't have inspiration, so we can put a 0 there for now. We're a level 1 character. Now you'll probably want to... You love that one? Well, look, we can put that name in there, but I'm going to give people a little bit more time as I fill in some of the basic stuff that we have to do. Your proficiency bonus at level 1, if you have a look at the wizard chart on page 113 of the player's handbook, if you're using the player's handbook, but if you're using the basic rules, it's on the first page. I am going to put in a +2 proficiency bonus because that's what it is. So +2. There's our proficiency bonus. That was pretty easy. It wasn't too hard at all. Now if we scroll down here, there's a lot of other things we've got to fill in. It looks really, really confusing and complicated. And I know it's terrifying to a certain extent, particularly where there's maths involved. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Are you from a different planet? So we're going to take Agile Monk's suggestion, because clearly a lot of people like that name and nobody else put anything in here. If you can't comment in the chat, it's probably because you're not a patron. You need to be a patron, not a patron, a subscriber to my channel, not a patron. You need to be subscribing to the channel for at least 20 minutes. This is to keep the bots out. Otherwise we get bombarded by all sorts of frustrating and inappropriate and sex bots galore trying to sell us stuff, which is not funny and chews up way too much time. So Dankton Periwinkle, apparently everybody likes it, dude. So that's the name we're picking. So we've got a name down. Cool. What would be our next thing that we do? I think we need to pick a race, don't you? I think it's time to pick a race. So hashtag pick me a race, hashtag pick a race. You can pick any race you like, people. Any race. I'm fine. I've got all my books here. It might require me to sort of shuffle through a few different things, but I'll get there. What's this, David Rose? As a DM, it has been a couple of years since I made a PC to play outside of creation in the streams. Goblin. Do we have Goblin in here? Let me just check. Do I have to go to a different book for Goblin? I hope not. Goblin. So David Rose, you've got Goblin. No. So Monsters of the Multiverse will be used in that Goblin. 20. Okay, we can do Goblin. Orc. So some votes are coming in. So we've got a gnome. Gnome, goblin, orc. We've got another goblin. Bugbear. Robert Lofton, how are you doing? Bugbear from Spirit Wolf. Robert's got Tiefling. Right. I feel like people are very, very sort of focused on let's do a goblin. Very much like a... Now I have a question for you, and look, if you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Is it Chris Manthia? Is this the first time you've built a character? Are you new to Dungeons and Dragons? Because I know everybody else here is relatively experienced in the game, and I always try to sort of focus in and help out those people who are sort of new. Norok likes Bugbear as well, but Thomas, make a human. You don't know me well enough to, Thomas. I despise humans so much. You're probably not going to get me. I mean, I've played a lot of humans as it is. I've also played a lot of half-orcs, I have to say. Those raven people. Tonto Sauron. What's the raven people? Oh, Chris Manthia, stick with us. Today is your day. Everybody else is going to help you along, and we're going to make your gnome. Okay, but we need to know what sort of gnome. There's our gnome. Today is the day. So we're going to create a gnome, and do I have the gnome information in here? No, I don't. So we're going to be using the Player's Handbook gnome. Okay? Player's Handbook gnome. So let's have a look at what we need to type in. Which page are we turning to? Oh, I just got to make sure I don't lose my wizard page, because that's the page I'm going to need to refer to very shortly. For those of you who are like, oh, Fred, are you really going to be turning pages during this live stream? Look, give me a break. Kenku. We'll come back to Kenku some other time. Chris Manthia, first time building wizard, we're going to give you a hand. So let's see if we can do this for you and show you the process. And yeah. Where is it? Gnome. Why can't I find gnome? Dwarf. Oh, thank you, David Rose. Thank you so much. Page 35. That's really helpful. It'll stop me flipping through pages. Okay, there it is. There's the gnome. So we've got, is it two choices? Forest gnome and a rock gnome. So which one do you want out of the different gnomes? Do you want the forest gnome or do you want the rock gnome? That's what I need to know. Okay, so you, Chris Manthia, you'll let me know, and I will put in some of the details of our gnome here. So first off, scrolling down, race. Oh, we have dark vision, 260 feet. You want the forest gnome. Okay, all right. That helps. Another question too, I have Chris Manthia, as people will be helping me do some of this stuff, is it's going to be really important to know, do you want me to use the original Player's Handbook rules where you get your bonuses to intelligence would be a +2, and then because it's a forest gnome, you then get another bonus which is to a +1 to dexterity. Or do you want to use the new Tasha's version? This is where you get a +2 to one whatever you want, whatever ability score you want, a +2 to whatever you want, and a +1 to something else, some other ability score. Or do you want to go with the Tasha's version where you get to add a +1 to 3 different ability scores? So you tell me which one you would prefer, okay? And I'm sure people will advise you as to what they think is probably the best choice. But yeah, let me know, and we'll go from there. Forest. You like the Tasha's version. Okay, Chris Manthia. Everybody's going to probably give you some different advice. So you need to tell me, do you want a +2 to whatever? Tell me where's the +2 going to go? And where's the +1 going to go? Okay? Or are you going to have 3 different scores go up by +1? So tell me, what do you want? Obviously, it's going to be intelligence because it's a wizard. But where do you want your other scores to go? Is it +1 intelligence and +1 and 2 other things of whatever you want? Or is it going to be something else? You tell me how it's going to work, and then we'll start going from there. Those of you who have advice, int. So David Ross is suggesting you go with +2 or /+1, okay, and then or 3 +1s. So he's actually written in the chat the different systems. So you have to decide. You want your intelligence to be a +2, and so you want dex. So we're using we're using the first method, +2 and a +1. Okay, cool, got that. I'll note that down before I lose it, because if I don't, I'll be screwed. Int +2 dex +1. Got it. That's fine. All right, so let's fill in the rest of the details on here. I'm also, my race here, I'll put here race forest gnome, bracket, page, what is it, 37? It is, yeah. Page 37. 37. Bracket. Okay, full stop. Nah, too much information. We'll just go P page as in PG. Okay, page. It's a G near page. There we go. So that does again because that's a reference point, so we know where to find everything. Spirit Wolf, thank you for that, and thank you, David Rose. And I appreciate those of you who are hoping to have far more input into today, allowing this to happen. Okay. All right. So some other choices you'll need to make is so I'm going to write down a couple of these things here, don't I? Natural illusionist. Natural illusionist. Oops. Oh. Okay, just give me a second. I've got to move myself further back. I'm too close to my keyboard and I can't actually type. Okay, natural illusionist. That's natural illusionist. And then speak with small animals. Small beasts. I wish they would just allow you to speak to any beast, doesn't matter how big or small they are. I mean, I suppose it's very flavorful, but yeah, it's sort of, yeah, I don't, it kind of sucks. So what do we got here in terms of other things? With the sub race, we got, oh, gnome cunning. We need to add that in. I add gnome cunning, and that's that. Full stop. New players should always be heard. This is why we're here in the first place, right? Our speed is 25 feet. Okay, so we're using the old stuff there. If you want to use the new version of the gnome, which I think is 30 feet, you let me know, Chrismanthia, and I will add in 30 feet. But for now, it's 25. I'm not sure what you want to use. Your size is small. I don't think we have a section for small size. No, it's not here. And then what else did we need to add? Languages. You can speak, read, and write Common and Gnomish. Okay, so we need to add in our proficiencies for our languages. We'll add that down the bottom here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Common. Full stop. Gnomish. Okay. Have I added everything in with regard to our race, people? If I've forgotten something or missed something, you'll let me know. But I think I've got everything that we needed to have in terms of the race. Age, height, weights, things like that. We if we have time, we'll go back to that. But for now, I feel like it's very personal. you can manage that yourself, I'm sure. Size is the top of your second section. Ah, that's where it is. Okay. Size, eyes, name. Why can't I see it? Top. Am I blind? Maybe I'm blind. I just don't see it anywhere. Age, top of the second section. No. Can't figure it out. Can't see it. Thank you for the attempting to help me find it, but I can't find it. Anyway, I think I've got all the bits and pieces I needed for the gnome with regard to how we have to deal with that. So that's good. We'll take our name here. Come on, you. Let me copy it. Copy. We go down here. We'll drop our name in here as well. Paste. And while I'm doing this, do you want to give? Do you people want to give me an idea of the different features of this character? Hashtag. What are its? What is the gnome's features? Physical, I guess. I'll put that in and we'll see what we get. Only if I have a hat. Come on. Hello, Big Clue. How are you doing? Raceability. While the gnome remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from a garden gnome. Okay, so I think we've got that one, and we're going to have to do some spell selecting as well. So paste that there. Okay, all right. So that's our first step. So we've done that. Our class is the next thing we need to deal with. That's the next big major thing. Now, I hope you guys have got dice ready. I will just type in whatever features you want to add for the gnome. I'm going to start putting in the different features that our spellcaster has, the wizard. So this is wizard class wizard, and we're going to refer to page, it is 113 to, what pages are we dealing with? The orange eyes. Orange eyes? Yeah, I could do that. We can do that. We can do that. Through to 119. 119. That'll just make it a little bit easier to refer back to stuff. Let's add in orange eyes. Orange. Orange. And then long white beard. I feel like that means that white here. Yeah? White. Blue freckles, bulbous nose. What about a skin color? Do we have a skin color? Skin. Oh, hashtag skin, clothes, regular, stained by spell components and experiments. But I don't know what, is it blue skin? Okay, blue skin. Skin, blue. Are you building a Smurf, people? I feel like you are. Smurf. Walked around. Stop it. Repetitive gestures. Okay. Do we have an age or a height? You'll let me know. I will come back to this. Do we have a weight for our gnome? Otherwise, let me just type in our wizard bits and pieces. Spellcasting. So we need to write that in. And we have arcane recovery. Now, arcane recovery, it's very easy to forget that you have arcane recovery. I'm actually going to put down the page number for that because you probably will forget otherwise. Oh, we'll just do that. I think that's right. Metallic green skin. Fidgets. Okay. So arcane recovery is on page 115. 115, so we can refer back to it later. It's there. Good. Okay, so we've got most of the bits and pieces we need around that. I don't think there's anything else with regard to... Oh, proficiencies. I need to add in the proficiencies. Sorry about this. Let's scroll on down. Proficiencies for our wizard has got no armor, but we have daggers, darts, sling. What else? Quarterstaff. Light crossbow. And that's that. We've got no tools. Not yet anyway. We have saving throws, and that's intelligence and wisdom. So we can go up here. So when you look at your character sheet and you're looking for saving throws, this is the section right here. It says saving throws. There are 6 options, and you're going to fill in the dot that applies to it. So the intelligence one, go down to the intelligence, click the dot beside it. Okay, you are now proficient. That means you add a +2 to whatever the modifier is for your intelligence modifier. Wisdom, you're now proficient in that saving throw. So we'll click that little dot right beside it. Blue velvet suit. Okay. 1.7 meters tall. 60 pounds. Okay, we're all good. I can put in that. 60 pounds. 60 pounds, isn't it? So it's this thing, isn't it? I don't use pounds myself, really. And then I don't know what meters. Okay, so I've got meters in there. Blue suede shoes. We don't have it. How old is our gnome? A revolver, a cowboy hat. I mean, you guys are really having a good time, I can see. Good to know. Good to know. There are some choices to make here, and I'm hoping that that she's still here. Chrismanthia, we need to choose 2 skills. So what skills are we going to choose out of Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, and Religion? So if you can tell me, hashtag pick 2 skills. Okay, so we're picking 2 skills. Oh, did I do it? I did not a hashtag, I did a $sign. It's not supposed to be $sign. Look, I'm going to just pick Arcana for you right now because you're playing a wizard. Okay? I think that makes much more sense to make sure that you have at least that skill. You could potentially pick up Arcana from a background as well. Big Clue reckons Arcana and Investigation. I'm waiting to see if Chrismanthia will give us a vote. If you don't want Arcana, you let me know and I'll take it off. Chrismanthia, okay, good. And then one more. It's something else. The going suggestions are investigation. Okay, you agree with that? Okay. So that's your ability to be deductive. So I've just put a dot beside them so it reminds me when I have to do the maths that I have to add a +2 to this thing. Yep. Okay, cool. So we've done that bit. And then what have I got to do next? I scroll through my little series of things we need to establish. We need to pick equipment, which I think we probably should do right now rather than leave it later. I mean, otherwise we'll forget it, and that would be terrible, okay? So some choices to make. We either have a quarterstaff or a dagger. Hashtag pick a quarterstaff or dagger. Now the rest of you feel free to make suggestions because that would be quite good to get your feedback. So pick a quarterstaff or dagger. You either get you're going to be picking a component pouch or an arcane focus. So Spirit Wolf reckons you should go with the quarterstaff, but you'll let me know. You want the dagger. Okay, dagger it is. Okay, so now staff sling. You want to go staff sling. So next choice is hashtag pick a component pouch or spell focus. What am I doing here? I'm typing into the wrong place. Hashtag, sorry people. Pick a component pouch or spell focus. And you probably need to let me know if you're going to be the spell focus. I need to know what type of spell focus it's going to be. If you're unsure, you let me know. You need help? You're not too sure about that one? That's fine. Okay, so people are going to suggest a few different things. Now, there's a couple of different ways that this works. If you go for a spell component pouch, your dungeon master might require you to replenish the materials inside. A spell focus never requires that. So a spell focus would be something like, instead of having a little pouch that you have stuff stored in it that you pull from, which would kind of be cool and it sort of fits with a forest gnome, your spell focus could be an orb. It could be a wand, or a twig is essentially a wand. It could be a rod. What else is there in terms of spell focuses? There's lots of different things. So if I can find that section, I will call them out. But you let me know. People are like asking, what do we do? If you want the chat to just make the decision, that's fine. They will. Don't you worry. They're quite happy to do that. But the different spell casting focuses are, where are they? Can I find that thing? Here we go. You get a crystal, an orb, a rod, a staff, or a wand. Focus, you want a twig. Okay, so it's basically a wand, but in this case, yours is specifically a twig. Okay, a wand twig. So I'm going to list it as wand twig. Happy? I think we've got that sussed. Okay. Doesn't require very much on your part. Yeah. So, and it doesn't really require an awful lot on a Dungeon Master's part because it's not too far out of the realm of like, well, that kind of does make sense, doesn't it? A wand is like a twig, isn't it? Is it not? Right, now, the next thing we need to pick. We need a Scholar's Pack or an Explorer's Pack. So, hashtag. Now, if you're unsure what's in there, I'm sure people will let you know. So, hashtag pick a pack. And the packs that we have are Scholar. Okay, I'm going to have a lot of trouble spelling this. Scholar. Scholars. Or Explorer. And frankly, I think both of them would be so suitable. Spirit Wolf reckons you should go for Explorer. If you are unsure as to why we would go with something like that, let me just tell you what's in those packs. How's that sound? Okay. So in the Scholar's Pack, you get a backpack, a book of lore, a bottle of ink, which is actually very expensive, an ink pen, 10 sheets of parchment, a little bag of sand for throwing in people's eyes, a small knife. The Explorer's Pack, you get a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, that's for cooking, tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days rations, a water skin, and the pack also has 50 foot of hemp rope strapped to its side. Chat can pick. That's fine. So let's just see who picked. Spirit Wolf went with Explorer, and then we got Explorer from Big Clue. They know something. The Explorer, you're probably going to use the Explorer pack more than anything else. This is probably why they're suggesting that one, okay? Explorer. Not to say that the things in there aren't very wizardy for the scholars, but in terms of exploring, you probably find it has a lot of the stuff that you're going to wind up finding you need at some point. Top of the hour. Oh, am I supposed to be taking a break now? It is. It is top of the hour. But before I go, I need to give you some choices to make, people. So we're not going to be going just yet, okay? But thank you for reminding me. There is a spell book to add to here. You must have a spell book. And when you get a chance, buy yourself a spare spell book so you can transfer your spells into a second spell book just in case you lose the first one. It can happen. It doesn't happen very often, but it's possible. Okay, so we've got the class. We've got that. What I want you to do is you'll notice we don't have a background. Okay? And we're going to need a background. There we go. So, I need a background. Hashtag. Pick a background. Chat will suggest a whole lot of different backgrounds, more than likely. You are welcome to just use a background from the player's handbook. So I'm hoping that the rest of you will suggest and explain some different options in terms of backgrounds that are available that might be suitable for this character, while I go take a small 5-minute break, if that, come back, and then we'll continue our way working on this. You like the idea of sage? Okay. That's because Big Clues explained what sage does. That would be the explanation that works the best, right? Absolutely. Okay. Let me just come back to the screen. Here we go. And have I got that window right? Yes, I do. So where was I? Making sure that I had everything. Arcane tradition. Here we go. And there's another thing I probably need to make sure I add in here before I forget. Sorry about that. Ritual caster. It's probably ritual casting is probably one of the most useful things the wizard has, because it means that you don't burn up a spell slot. What's that, David? Thoughts on Guild Artisan, patient for extra language tool proficiency? It looks to me like Big Clue has sold Chrysmanthia on the Sage. And I don't disagree with your suggestion, David Rose, at all, but we'll go with what Chrysmanthia has wanted to select. That's fine. We're going to be doing some spell selection very shortly, people, so get ready to start throwing out some suggestions. Now, I'm probably going to give you the page number for this one as well. Hashtag, and we'll just go copy and paste here. Copy. Paste it. It's page 14. There we go. Put that in. Right, that's in. Okay, so have I got everything listed down? Spell book. Preparing spells, I don't have to mention that. It's just the abilities we're worrying about for now at level 1. And okay. Alright. So we're going for a background. Sage is the one you selected. Sage. Guild Artisan, jeweler, If you decide to change your mind, Chrysmanthia, you let me know, and we'll change it to something, whatever else you want to change it to. But if not, we'll go with this one. Let me just Sage page 137. Good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So Sage background. Come on, let me do this. Let's try it again. Let's put a space between here. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier to read too. Now, background. Sage. Whoops. Bit too far. And we want page 137. So that's where all the information will be found. So if we need to look it up, we can actually find it. Okay, and then we'll list off the different things we have in a second. We're doing all right. So let me just find Sage 137. Okay, there is going to be some dice rolling required, people. So the Sage has options. Specialty. You get a specialty. Your Sage gets a specialty, and you roll an 8-sided dice to determine that. Roll a D8. That's the 8-sided dice for specialty. Special. Can I get it in? It's so hot and my head is just cooking right now. You could fry an egg on me. And it would just be bad news. Okay, so you're gonna do that while I fill in some details. So part of your background, you get some skills. It says Arcana and History. So we're gonna click the History, but you also get Arcana, which you already have, which means you have to pick another skill, because we're gonna swap out the skill for the background for something else that we want. Okay, hashtag pick an extra skill, because if you get a repeat of, if you wind up with a repeat, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, you can also choose. That's right, and I will tell you what they are. That's actually a good point, Big Clue. Spirit Wolf rolled a 7, So the specialties are alchemist, astronomer, discredited academic, a librarian, a professor, a researcher, a wizard's apprentice, a scribe. Okay, so it's just to determine you want the three. Okay, discredited academic, a discredited academic. Okay, that's fine. We'll put that down. No problems. And scroll this up so you can see a little bit clearer. Okay, so this is. If you don't like it, you let me know and we'll change it. Okay. Is it going to stay there? Discredited. Academic. Random is fun. This is one of the reasons why I feel like random is important. Now, there are some things in the background that we also need to do, but we also need an extra skill. So you need to pick an extra skill. We're going to have to roll a lot of dice very shortly because there's a bunch of dice to roll. Our sage also gets another feature. We get 2 languages. We get 2. You got to pick 2 languages as well. So we're going to add a couple more languages that we didn't have before. Hashtag. Pick 2 languages. So people, just to put in your votes, everybody, because otherwise we'll never get this done. And we want to get the maths done as well. Yeah? History. Thank you, Chris Manthia. History. We've already got history. You need something else. We get history as part of our sage background. So we already got that one. You need to pick something else. We've got arcana, history, and investigation, and we get 1 more. So you need to pick something else. Out of, say, acrobatic, I mean, it can be anything here for the background. You can pick anything you like. Sylvan, recommend perception or stealth. Okay, that's good. Recommendations always nice. Yeah, we already have those. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Sylvan, we can add in Sylvan. Stealth, you want stealth? Okay, you're a stealthy gnome. Well done. Okay, let's put in some languages. We need 2 more languages, people. So 2 more languages. Somebody suggested Draconic and Elven. I've got Draconic. We've got Sylvan. Chris Manthia, put in your votes as well. I'm writing in Sylvan now. Okay. We're going to be doing some of the random tables for personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. We're going to have to do this because if we don't, the day is coming where they will no longer exist. It's true. It looks like they're taking them out of the game. I am sad to see this. Okay, researcher. I'm sorry if the thing keeps popping the scroll down. I keep trying to pull it up, but it won't let me do that. And this is page 138. You want Elven? That's fine. We'll put in Elven. Elven it is. Sylvan and Elven. Got it. If you don't want Sylvan, you let me know and I'll take it out. And we'll put something else there. But for now, we'll just leave it there. And then we need to make sure we have a page reference for this thing so that you can actually find it for the researcher. A lot of people get tricked up on this particular ability because for a dungeon master, it's quite confusing as to what I'm supposed to do. Even I struggled with it, people. Seriously, I found myself like, what am I supposed to do with that? Okay. So we've done pretty well. What other choices did we need to make? We've got our languages. We've got an extra skill. We need to do some. Let's do some dice rolling because I think I've got all the information other than that we needed. So that's personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. So we're going to be rolling some dice, people. Hashtag. Get them dice ready. We need roll. D8. We're going to pick out some personality traits. You want Draconic instead? I'll take out Sylvan. We'll put in Draconic. That's fine. Draconic. You can talk to dragons now. Done. So, Chrismanthia and everybody else, can you please start rolling some D8s so I can see what we've got here, and I will call them out and put them in. Thank you, Agile Monk, for the super sticker or super chat, the $20 super chat or super sticker. That's a lot of money, dude. You know that. Thank you very much. Gnomes need to speak Elven and Dwarven, as many of their spell ingredients and abilities to alchemy and it's going to relies on a relationship with these two species. Yep. It's a great point, but it's also an option. Do you know what I mean? It would not be the end of the world if you knew Dwarven and Draconic. So we've got some people rolling. Chrismanthia, I hope you will roll some dice as well. I'm going to take Noroak's first one, because we're going to pick 2 personality traits. If you don't like the personality traits, you can make your own up, people, by the way. It's not necessary to take one that you roll. But it's kind of nice as a starting point. I've read every book in the world's greatest libraries, or I like the to boast that I have. Okay, I'm going to write down. I'm one of the. Am I one of the best D&D community supporters? Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what KK means. Oh, you rolled a roll a D20. So what was the number you got on a D20? Yep. Yeah, it doesn't cost very much. No, I know. You'd be surprised how much you get out of it. Now let me just type this in while we're getting some numbers from somebody coming through. I've read every book in the world. Worlds. Let's go worlds in the world. I think we'll just go with that. We need a bit of space. 5. Thank you, Chrismanthia. What have we got for 5? What is 5? I'm willing to listen to everyone's side of the argument before making my own judgment. Okay, so we'll take that. That sounds good. I like that. Do you like that? I think it's good. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm willing to listen to every side of an argument. And that will do. Okay, so that's got us our 2 personality traits. But don't stop there, because now we have to roll for ideals, bonds, and flaws. So it's hashtag roll D6. Okay, so anybody can roll a 6-sided dice. I need an ideal, a bond, and a flaw to go into here. Otherwise, our character's just not complete. You got a 2. What's 2? So ideal would be beauty. Whatever is beautiful points us beyond itself toward what is true. Okay, we'll put that in. All right, we've got some numbers coming through. Chrismanthia, I'm going to let you take the floor. So when you roll your dice, yours is going to be the floor, okay? So here we go. What? Oh, my mind is going. What is a beautiful? Okay, people, I'm going to apologize now. I have to take this off. I'm going to die otherwise. Okay, to make it quite clear, I'm 51. I'm balding, and yeah, I haven't had a haircut in a long time. But I am about to pass out otherwise. What is a beautiful? What is beautiful points is beyond itself toward what is true. I don't understand. What is beautiful points us beyond ourselves? Okay, well, okay. Now I see it. I'm starting to understand. Okay, got it. 2. That's the yeah. Okay, right. Beautiful. Points us beyond itself toward What is true? Okay. Man, really struggling. I know I've been drinking. I'll drink more water. Maybe that'll help. I've still got to do maths in a second. Gosh. I'm going to select some spells as well. Okay, so I've got my numbers. Hashtag pick some cantrips. Some cantrips. They're going to be wizard cantrips. Okay, so don't give me a cantrip that isn't a wizard cantrip. Okay, so now Bond. Big Kulu got 2. Spirit Wolf got 2. So Bond is going to be... I have an ancient text that holds terrible secrets. Okay, let's do that one. I have... what is it? Have an ancient... Mending dancing lights. Ancient text. That holds terrible secrets. Chrismanthia, if you're unsure as to what cantrips to select, I would just suggest the ones that I was talking about in my presentation. Okay. Any of those are good cantrips. If I've made a video on it, it's probably a good cantrip to use. Okay, so terrible secrets. Okay, so we've got some various unseen servants. Not actually a cantrip, but good try, Spirit Wolf. Mending is that's definitely one. Now, Chrismanthia, you got 2 for your floor. So what was 2? Most people scream and run when they see a demon. I stop and take notes on its autonomy. Okay, all right. Most people. Scream and run when they see demon. I stop and take notes on its autonomy. Anatomy, autonomy. Where do I get it? Man, I'm really losing it, people. Will I get through the end of this thing? This is going to be an interesting one. I'm actually having double vision. Would you believe it? I'm actually struggling to see. That's how hot it is in here right now. Sounds great. Okay, all right. See, everybody's giving you some ideas. We're going to go with some of these ideas they've put up. Okay, so somebody said mending. Now, how many cantrips? I think it's how many cantrips does the wizard get at first level? Now I've forgotten. 3. Okay, let's go put in these things. Let's put our cantrips in now before we can possibly forget. So we've got mending down, dancing lights, toll the dead. Fearless. Where did you get fearless from? Okay, so I'm going to take... So Mind Sliver is a good spell, but I'm not entirely sure that Chrismanthia has access to that resource. So what we'll do is we'll go Mage Hand. We said Mage Hand, so Mage Hand. You can't go wrong with Mage Hand. Somebody said Mending, so we'll take Mending, and then as damage dealing, since I don't know if she's got the book for Toll the Dead, we'll take... we need something that does some sort of damage as well. Yeah, Firebolt. Yeah, I'm gonna Firebolt. Otherwise, I don't know what else to do. That's that one. And then we were trying to look at another one, which was going to be Mending. Yep, we'll take Mending. You will get more cantrips later on, so it's not the end of the world if you select these and, you know, like, okay. And I always talk to your dungeon master about swapping things out, because, you know, you'd be surprised. People will do it. Oh, okay. So I've got cantrips. We need some first level spells, and when we're starting out, we only get 2 slots, but we get 6 spells. And some people have mentioned some spell names here, so I feel like this is a good opportunity to actually add them in. So hashtag pick some first level spells. There we go. Chris Manthia, if you are unsure, I can read these out for you. Any of the ones that I mentioned in my presentation are really good spells to pick up. Like they are definitely worthwhile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in the ones that I think are pretty standard and you should probably just have, and that is, God, can I remember what it was? Oh, Mage Armor. Mage Armor. Will I have time to put page numbers in? I can see everybody's putting in their votes, which is good. Mage Armor, Magic Missile. It's your bread and butter for doing damage, which of course you'll be able to get better ones later. Sleep you'll use a lot when you're starting out. And sleep and shield. We need 2 more. So what are the choices that people... Let's have a look at what people started putting out here. Somebody put down first level is Unseen Servant. So Unseen Servant is actually a very good spell. I know a lot of people, and I know people are like, oh, really? You can do a lot with Unseen Servant. So we're going to put Unseen Servant, and it's also a ritual. A lot of people don't take it because they're just not too sure what to do with it. I think that's the biggest problem. I wish this thing would stop doing that. It's really beginning to bug the hell out of me. I can't see what I'm doing. It keeps moving the page. Ah! Oh, I'm getting angry. You stupid... Okay, anyway. All right. Before I lose my nut at it, let's just move on. Who else? First level spells. What did people suggest? Find Familiar. Find Familiar is an excellent spell, and frankly, if you are playing a forest gnome, you're probably going to want it. I can't deduct. Mage Armor Sleep, I've got them down. Find Familiar. I thought you'd want that. Find Familiar. Okay. For whatever reason, it keeps not wanting to do what I want there. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay, so we've got our various spells. We're not finished though, and we're going to run out of time if we're not careful. So let's get some maths done. There is some significant things that we need to contend with, and before I lose time and my mind, have I transposed everything that we needed for the sage? The sage had a lot of equipment. Picked our languages, picked that. Here we go. Equipment. So this is what I want you to do. I need to know what ability score method are we using. Hashtag. Pick method. Point by. Next one is standard array. Or roll. If you want to roll, that's all right, because I've got dice here and I've got a different webcam for that very purpose. Okay? So, put your votes in while I put in this equipment. Black ink. What else do we have? Bottle of black ink. A quill. Standard array. Chris Manthia, that's fine. We'll use standard array. Okay. Small knife. And what I want you to do is I want you to decide, I'm assuming that you want the 15 to be your intelligence. Hashtag 15 int. I know the guys want to. I know a lot of the others want to roll because they just want to see what numbers you'd get. But I know it's not necessarily the easiest way to deal with it. A letter. This is all from the background that you get. Common clothes. I kind of figured that was the case. Okay, that's fine. We'll do that. Now with standard array. Page 12 and 13 of Player's Handbook, people. Okay, there are certain numbers. So it goes int, dex, con. That's how you want to go. Okay, all right, understand. And then close and a pouch containing 10 gold pieces. So we've got 10 gold here. Okay, that's good. Right, so now that we've done that, let us deal with the different scores here. I'm trying not to strip tease, dude. I really am. But it's. I know you can see my head, and if I had the hat on, it wouldn't be so bad. But I'm just melting in this office. It is so warm today. It is so hot. Okay, standard array. Rather than point by, standard array looks like this, people. Where is it? No. Where's my standard array? Why can't I see it? Am I blind? Oh, here it is. It's at the top here. Determining there. So we get a 15, a 14, 13, a 12, a 10, and an 8. So that's the standard array that we're using. So first off, Chrismanthia had wanted int to be the highest, so that means intelligence is going to be 15. And the next score is a 14. The 14 is going to be in dex. And then our constitution is going to be 13. Am I right around this? I think that's correct. Yep, thank you, Big Clue. Okay, so I also need to know where the other one's going to go. So we need to know where the 12, the 10, and the 8 are going to go. Okay, because we've still got 3 more to fill in. Hashtag what ability score is 8. We'll go with the lowest one, because it'll be interesting to see what you pick. So while I'm doing that, now I'll put these numbers in, and while I'm making some decisions about the other scores, I'm going to show you how to figure out your dexterity modifier. On the table that you see on page 13, you want wisdom, charisma, and strength. Okay, I've got it. Okay. Wisdom, charisma, and strength. So, wisdom is 12. Charisma, 10. Strength is 8. Okay. So looking at the top of page 13, it says ability scores and modifiers. And there is a chart or table. Now you look at this, and wherever it says on the side that says ability score, you look at that, refer to the number, and then beside it, it'll have the modifier that it represents. Okay, and that's how you figure it out. So an 8 strength is a -1. So we type in -1. Dexterity is a 14. Okay, so that is a +2. +2. No, it's not a +2. That is a +2. There we go. And then scrolling on down, you'll see that the Constitution is a 13. It's a +1. Our intelligence is also a +1. No, intelligence is 15. It's a +2. Okay. I know we've got modifiers to add. Don't worry, people. I haven't forgotten that. Okay. Wisdom is 12, so that is a +1 as well. You're probably wondering why some are +1s. There's a range that they go within. Okay. And then charisma is a 0. Okay. Right. Now, the various ability scores we were going to increase that Chris Manthia had asked for was a +2 to intelligence as our bonus for our race. So we're going to do that. So instead of a 15, we add 2, and it becomes a 17. Okay, look back at the scale again since we made the adjustment, and it's now, instead of a +2, it's a +3. There's our adjustment. Dexterity, okay, she wanted a +1 into that as part of the racial bonus, so look at the 14 and make that a 15 instead. So 14 plus 1 is 15, and a 15 is still a +2, so we don't need to make any adjustments to that. Okay, now this is where we start getting interesting. This is where the maths comes in, people. We're going to fill it all out. Maths is easy. It's only easy for some people. So first off, our initiative at the top here is always our dexterity modifier. Our dexterity modifier is the +2 on the side here. So we're going to go +2. Our armor class. Our armor class is always determined by our dexterity modifier +10. Okay? So 10 plus our dexterity modifier, which means we have a 12 for our armor class. But if we cast mage armor at the beginning of the day, which you should be doing, it'll be 13 plus your dexterity modifier, which means you'll have a 15 armor class. Okay? Now, I could type in here in brackets, I don't know if it'll let me, 15. That's with, so it's normally 12, but it's actually going to be a 15 when we have mage armor. And you, if you're sensible, you put your mage armor on. Okay, at the beginning of your adventuring day, not when suddenly you start the battle. Like it lasts 8 hours, so it's smart, do that. Okay, so our hit point maximum at first level when we are a wizard, instead of rolling for dice, I'm going to suggest we don't roll for dice at first level. Normally with that, what we do is we take the maximum that you would get off the dice at first level. If you look on page 113, it says here, hit dice is a D6. Hit points at level 1 is 6 plus your constitution modifier. So we get maximum hit points. So it's 6 plus our constitution modifier, which is a +1. So we have 7 hit points maximum at first level. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. Our total hit die is 1d6. That's it. That's our total there. So we get to use those during a short rest. So that's how we fill in our hit dice. You don't have to put anything in that space there. It's only at the total that you need to worry about. Okay, we have no temporary hit points, so don't worry about that. We're going to fill in our saving throws now. It's nice and simple. It's whatever the modifier is for your strength score. Okay, so working our way through. Somebody's already started doing the maths for me. Yep. Good. Well done, people. Big Clue's really getting stuck into this. Fantastic. Okay, so strength modifier is what we want to use for our saving throw. So it's a -1. Our dexterity is going to be a +2 because that's what it is. We're not proficient in it. Our constitution is going to be the +1. You see that there? Constitution's got a +1 modifier. So we'll do +1. Moving through. Intelligence is going to be different because our intelligence modifier is a +2, plus we're proficient, so we add our proficiency bonus, which is 2, so 3 for our intelligence modifier, plus our proficiency is a +5. Chris Manthia, is this helping? Good. Okay, cool. All right, wisdom. Also, we are proficient. We are trained in that, so that's going to be +2 for proficiency. What is our wisdom modifier? It's a +1, so 2 and 1 is 3. Okay. Yes, so wizards are better at making those particular saving throws. And our charisma saving throw is going to be +0. So it doesn't have a modifier really. Okay, so that's all that done. Now we're going to go do all the skills. Here's what the skills look like. First off, right beside the skill, it says in brackets what ability score is related to it. And this is the ability modifier we put in here. Okay. Now, he did a great job. Thank you, Big Clue. So going through here, we're going to just type in the numbers. When we get to one with a dot, it's going to be different to the modifier. Okay. So acrobatics is dexterity. Dexterity modifier is +2. Animal handling is wisdom. Right there on the side there. So wisdom is a +1. Arcana is intelligence. Our intelligence modifier is +3. Plus we are trained, so add the proficiency bonus of 2. So 3 and 2 is 5. Our athletics is going to be really bad. It's going to be -1 because our strength is a -1 modifier. Took stealth. Did I not mark down stealth? Yeah, it's down there. No, it's all right. We haven't got there yet. So deception is charisma, so that's going to be a 0. We've got history. That's intelligence, so it's +3 because it's history is related to intelligence, +3, and we're trained, so proficiency bonus 3 plus the 2 is 5. Blade singer. Nice blade singer. Hello, Alec. How are you doing? All right, I've got a lot of maths to do, so I'll let you guys chat while I do this. So insight is wisdom. So what's our wisdom modifier? It is +1. Intimidation is charisma. What is our charisma? It's a modifier is a 0. Investigation is intelligence, which is +3, and we're trained, so it's 3 plus 2 is 5. Our medicine is wisdom, so that is just going to be the +1 for our wisdom modifier. Nature is intelligence, so we get a +3 for that. Perception is wisdom again, so +1 for perception. Performance is charisma, so charisma is a 0. So performance is 0. Persuasion is charisma again, so another 0. And religion is intelligence, so that's +3. That's our modifier for intelligence. Dexterity. Dexterity is +2, so that's going to be our sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is dexterity, +2. And then stealth is dexterity, so +2, and we're proficient, so it's going to be 2 plus 2 is 4. And then the last one is just modifier for wisdom, which is going to be 1 for survival. And the survival's all filled in. So that was not too bad. Could have been worse. Now, one of the things we probably need to do is calculate some of the stuff that you need to use. So what I'm going to do right now, before we get too far, because you're playing a wizard, you're going to need this. Spell attack bonus. What is your spell attack bonus? That's the thing when you're doing it, you're trying to hit. Passive, yes. We'll go down to passive perception. It should be 11. So passive perception is always going to be your wisdom modifier, because since our perception is +1, adds 10 to that. That's passive, 10 plus whatever the skill is, you get 11. Yeah. So let's have a look. So our bonus for our spell attack, that's whether it's a melee spell attack or a ranged spell attack. What is it going to be for this character? Well, it's going to be our intelligence modifier, which is a +1, plus your proficiency, which means we get a +5. Okay? And we can actually build in Firebolt right now. So Big Clue's actually putting this in, and it's actually a good point. I do this a lot myself. So Firebolt, we're going to make that one of our default things that we do. Firebolt, and it's +5. And our damage output is 1d10. We'll go small d, eh? 1d10. No modifier added to that. That's it. Okay? At level 1. Our spell DC. That's our spell saving throw DC. Spell DC Saving, throw, DC. What is that number? How is that worked out? It's nice and simple, people. It's 8. Don't ask me why it's 8. 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2. Okay, plus your spellcasting modifier. In this case, it's intelligence, and that's a +3. So that goes 8 plus 2 for proficiency, plus the 3 for intelligence, and we get a 13. That's our number. So that's all there worked out for you. Now, in terms of if I wanted to use, say, a dagger, I can figure out how to use my dagger. I can put my dagger in here now. Dagger. What's my dagger going to be? Proficiency bonus plus out my strength modifier. In this case, I'm pretty sure it's strength. Is this a? I can't remember. Is a dagger a finesse weapon? It is. It's floating through my mind. I'm trying to remember if it is or not. It should be. If it's not, it's ridiculous. But I can't remember. Dagger is finesse. So finesse weapons, we can use our dexterity. So +2 for dexterity, plus the proficiency, which means to hit with the dagger is going to be a +4. How much damage do we do? Well, it's going to be a D4 for the damage die, plus our dexterity. In this case, is it? I'm pretty sure it is. Dexterity, yep. Yep, so it'll be +2 because we're using dexterity for our damage in this case. So that's that worked out. We don't have any other real major weapons that we're going to be using, so we're all good there. What was the next thing I needed to do? Remind me, people, in terms of maths, what have I missed? I think we've actually got all the bits and pieces you require for your wizard. Off the top of my head, here we go. We'll put these in here as well. Spell DC 13, that can go in there. Attack bonus is a +5, which we've already worked out. Spell casting ability is a +3. Yep. So I got it right. No, she didn't take Toll of Dead. We didn't have enough cantrips to figure out the maths behind that. Okay, so that's all good. So we've got all of that there. We've got that sorted out. We will also need to decide which of these spells are we're going to prepare. You can only prepare a certain number of spells. And I know, look, so I can cast 2 first level spells, and then after that, I'm out, and I'm going to have to take a long rest, okay? Or should I say a short rest, and I can reclaim with Arcane Recovery 1 spell slot. But we also need to prepare some spells. And you'll probably notice in the section on page 114, sleep is 5d8. Yes, magic missile, 3 darts, 1. Yes, that's right. No attack roll. Yeah, we could add those. I don't know if I'm going to have enough space. I've kind of run out of space here. We'll just put in the one that she's probably going to use the most. I would imagine sleep is going to come up more than anything else. But sleep's easy to figure out. So let's just go magic missile. And then it's NA. It's not applicable. You do not need to make an attack roll because there isn't one. If you can see it, you can hit it. And then it is 3d4 +2. +1, sorry. So 3 darts. Each one does a d4 +1. Okay? We'll go that like that. So hopefully that makes sense. No, so there's no point putting in sleep. I mean, frankly, you just look up the spell. I haven't put in the page numbers for all of those, but there hasn't been time. Now, what was I trying to do? Preparing spells. That's probably your next hassle, right? You'll notice that there is an explanation which looks really bloody confusing. Okay, so you prepare the list of wizard spells that are available for you to cast. To do so, choose a number of wizard spells from your spell book. This is our spell book right here, okay? Equal to your intelligence modifier plus your wizard level. Minimum of 1 spell. So that means if we are level 1, we get 1 at least plus our intelligence modifier, which is +3. So we get 4. So 4 of these we need to click. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 2 are ritual casting spells. So we're going to do them at a different time. And you are ready to go, people, okay? This is why I recommend that you pick up ritual casting spells, because you'll have a limited number of prepared spells and you only have so many slots, and this is probably the best way to deal with that. So you have essentially, you can cast all these cantrips as many times as you like, okay? And all you've got to do is just make sure that you click the little dot to indicate that these are the spells that are prepared. These are the ones that I'm going to use spell slots up for. Yep. Have I done everything here? I think I've got that all filled out there. We didn't determine an age, so I'm going to put in, I don't know, what am I going to put in? Put in an age of something, some sort of age. Yeah, so that's the basics. That's how you build your character. I know it's taken a long time to do it, people, and I guess a lot of you were looking for the maths to begin with, but we got there. Yes, Periwinkle has been born. Welcome to a new world. And for those of you who are hoping that I'll do the same thing with other classes, yes, I will. 87, thank you. 87 is a good age. 87 will do. There we go. 87. There we go. We did it. Let's see if we can get myself out of here, because I am definitely going to need to drink some more water. And I'll put the hat on briefly, and trust me, I'm going to throw it away in a second. It's not enough. Oh man. Whew, okay, all right, that's we got through that. Whew. It is a hot day. I'm not looking forward to summer in this office. I really aren't. But anyway, we got through the process. We built the thing from scratch. Lucky me and you. I have to say, without a lot of help from people, it would have been very, very difficult to get done. I was really starting to lose my mind. But in any case, we got there. That's the main thing, right? I just want to say thank you to my patrons today for supporting me on Patreon. So it allows me to actually run this class every single week, so we can actually build characters with people and help people out as best we can. Okay, I want to thank Chris Manthia for her feedback, and everybody else in the chat who's been feeding me lots and lots of information. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching my live streams, which are incredibly long. Like 2 hours is a long time. I do not expect you to watch the whole thing, people. Okay, just watch the stuff you want to watch. It's all good. And watching my edited videos and putting up with my shorts, which I kind of have to do because YouTube wants me to do that sort of thing. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. And hey, be nice to your neighbors. I am almost about to fall over. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s, because you're going to have to roll a 20, because I don't even think I can roll a 20 right now. I think I'm that tired right now. I don't think I can do anything more. You are welcome, Chris Manthia. Oh.